Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. For those new just watching these videos, my name is Corrie Thorne. I am a mystic, a spiritual teacher, a psychic medium, and a published author, and so many other things. I'm the creator of More Than Existing and the beautiful journey of self-discovery. I work as a spiritual, emotional coach. I do all of those things, and I love to come in and share with everyone a little bit of the information. I do read the energy. I do energy updates, and so I love to share a little bit of those energy updates with you as well. Hello, Felicia. I'm just waiting for people to join in. Just speaking to new people who would be watching the replays, because these replays go on forever. We literally had someone comment on one of the replays from like 2 years ago the other night. It was like late in the night, and I heard someone. So if you are new to my page and you were watching one of the replays from 2 years ago, thank you. I love that they're still being played and watched. Yes, Kenzie. Yes, this is our new kitten. So she is the new adopted little kitten in our home. She is Goddess Phoebe. And so, yeah, she was a rescue, and she looks so sweet, so cute, so innocent when she was looking at me in the little video that I was watching. And she's a little crazy little cat. So she tortures the dogs, um, and she's everywhere. But isn't she just adorable? She is rescued from the Slave Lake, rescue, and yeah, she's got a good home. But yeah, she's Goddess Phoebe, and yeah, so. And so I want to come in today and do some energy update work. I'm like, I got to pick up my granddaughter in like 3 or 4 hours time. And I'm watching my schedule, watching my clock like crazy. So it's almost as if I'm afraid I'm going to forget to pick her up. And that's just crazy. Hello, Lindsay. And so this is the middle of the day. Yes. And it's due to my teaching schedule. So I'm doing these in the middle of the day, but I wanted to stop in, do an energy update. Sid is having a little heart moment right in the middle of all this. So could you bear with me? I just got to move Sid from the bed from the day bed to the floor. Okay. The old girl has a heart murmur, so she gets herself excited. Sorry, guys. This is the funny farm. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Let me get her poor little thing down on the floor so she can go get her water. You okay, Sid? This is what's happening in our life today. Everything was peaceful. Everything was quiet until soon as that last little click came in. And it was just like that was it. It was everything just, Sid woke up. The cat went crazy. My son's uncle was tormenting us last night. I know it was him, his prankster self. Right? Yeah, you just know. And so I do want to talk about the energy, because we do have a lot of energy, and it's that sense of trying to be. I don't know which camera I'm on. I think I'm looking in the wrong camera. Hold on, I got to move the cameras around. My regular camera is not working, so I'm trying. Yes, so I'm trying to use like one of my old cameras, and it's such a pain in the ass because it only comes into like this little area. See, this is how the energy is. So yeah, so this energy that we have happening, I did share it. I did do the weekly tying into the weekend energy update that was posted on YouTube yesterday. I have not shared it over to Facebook. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it is before this video. So I posted that yesterday. That went up. It is a very different kind of energy update. And I had existed in that experience prior to recording, and it speaks a lot about our solar plexus energy. It speaks a lot about our will and the choices that we choose, and I went back to my yearly prediction. If you have never listened to my yearly prediction, I know the year is close to being ending, But go back into the beginning of the year on YouTube and listen to my yearly prediction. And I always speak about this sinister energy that had revealed itself, like in that I had seen. And I said it was going to really reveal itself this year. We are seeing that sinister energy kind of really and it's not a person, it's an energy. It's what activates our fears or triggers this fear self. And it's so big right now. There's just so much that is just like so kind of and it's going to be here for a few weeks. It just feels like it's going to be here for a few weeks. It kind of influences and affects our energy and our choices. So before you sometimes make your choices and your decisions, before you respond and react, really sit down and pause and ask yourself, who is this? Is this my truest version of myself, or is this my fears? Is this my insecurities? What's speaking for me? What's trying to move my, what's trying to make me make this decision? Is this my past, or is this who I am? It needs to leave. Yes, it does need to leave. It needs to go. And there's a lot of good positive energy with that as well. Sorry, guys. Camera is funky. Okay, I just want to read a few of the comments coming in here. Animals are the best thing that ever happened to us. Yes, Wendy, they are. They are the absolute best thing that ever happened to us. I would not be without my animals at all. I love my animals. Felicia, oh, I want to go to Felicia's. His pre-trial for the guy who murdered him is coming up. The energy for us has been all over the place. Oh, that makes a lot of sense, Felicia, of why you would have him so active, right? Because he's moved beyond his human experience of that. But that's what I speak about with my purity card, right? It's the sense that he's existing in all of this love and all this energy, and everyone who's left behind is left in the grief story and the pain and hoping for that sense of some sort of, conviction that really truly gives a sense of somebody being held accountable and responsible. So I'm praying for all of you and everything that you have happening. Well, look at that, Lisa. Perfect. And aloha, Chelsea. Hasn't seen you in a while. I have, yeah. I was wondering about you during the whole the fires that have happened in Hawaii. The paintings in the background. Oh, love is right across the bottom of my screen, Jackie. The paintings in the background. So all of my paintings in the background are a part. See, when the sun shines, my camera goes. This camera goes all funny. All those paintings in the background have all been, I think I have about 40 of them now. They're all that I have been painting for the last couple years. And they are what I have a copyright on now called Paint Me Beautiful. And so they are a series of the journey through healing and that sense of all of the language and the words and the things that happens, and then that we have about ourselves. And then these three really dark ones that are hard for you to see, those are actually going to be somehow incorporated into the cover of my Wine and Chips book. And so that book is being worked on right now. That's what I was doing before I came in here. But something told me to come in here today. Hello, Sandy. Do you pick up anything on the man from work, please? There seems to be an attraction. Oh, I don't know. I'm not pulling I'm not pulling individual cards yet. Let's see what happens. I'm right now. First, I'm doing the energy update so we can see about the energy we have happening. Kenzie, I'm grieving my dog so bad. Your puppy dog is, I can tell you, yeah, your grief is so real. And it's so, it's so fresh. One thing, Kenzie, you have to let go of is any guilt that you carry, because your dog is right there with you. They are all love. They return to love. They become the powerful love that comes into us and just so with you. And sometimes they just find their way to be with us no matter what. She'll always be your soul dog. Always. My soul dog passed away at an early age. She was 10. And and she was gone way too soon. And she was my life. She was my everything. Hold on 1 second, everyone. You're going to lose my video, but don't leave. I'm going to try switching my camera back over. Do not leave. It's going to just go black for just a second here. I'm just trying to see. Oh, it didn't change. So we are stuck with. Here we go. The other camera, neither camera is working right, but this camera doesn't change vision the same way as the other one. Sorry. I'm like, the other one was going dark on me and I couldn't stand being in the dark. And it was just like driving me insane. I don't want to be in the dark today. I don't want to be in the dark today. And so, yeah, so, that soul dog is always with you. Yes. And so, your truth, the story behind it, all of those things, but your love for your dog, your everything that dog was, is still very much with you. And hello, Pixie Sacred Journey. I love pixies. I just love pixies. I was seeing a pixie early this morning, actually. And Chelsea, I want to read Chelsea's. Oh, thank you. Yes, such sad and crazy time for Maui. Thank you. I live on the big. Oh, yes, that's right. You're on the big island. We've been busy. Just had our youngest turn 2. Yay. And you're expecting twins? No shit. Oh my God, that is so fantastic, Chelsea. I'm so excited for you. So happy for you. Congratulations. Wow. Such big, beautiful things that are happening. And you're welcome, Kenzie. Hello, Shaiva. Hello. So I want to go back to the energy, but we have a lot of energy. And I've been saying, it's like, so the tides are turning. It's almost like the tide is going out and it's like we have more shore, but then there's like this reveal. So we have this kind of reveal of energy, and it's going to be around us for, I want to say, close to about the 15th. It is taking us deep into that sacral and our choices and our free will and the choices that we choose, and there's just such a energy, and it's hard for me to, I don't remember everything that I speak. I remember very little of what I channel through, but you can listen to the whole message on YouTube. The whole weekly message is there, and also the October message is also out. So there's an October monthly message and the weekly message are both out on YouTube. And I do speak of, getting back to the seat of the soul and being able to come back to the sense of the centered within us, and come back to this place within ourselves. And so my last 2 paintings are actually the one where the lady is kind of walking into that tunnel, looks like a sun type of thing. And then the lady in the beigey gold dress. Those 2 paintings really truly tie into the energy that we have. And it's about a level of leveling up. It's about a level of emotional, spiritual sense of leveling up, growing, evolving, opening up our eyes, seeing things differently, not being afraid to let ourselves feel, not being afraid to connect, because the things that we don't let ourselves feel are the things that influence and impact how we treat others, and the attitude that we have toward treat ourselves and others, not just others. And so it affects and influences our attitude, and the attitude that we have towards life, the attitude that we have towards ourselves, and the attitudes that we have that sometimes leave us bringing forth the sense of the shadow self. And when you notice that, the world is a bunch of shadows existing as real truths, is that you see that, who we truly are. So the truest version of anyone that you see is a newborn baby that are just born, and they're in their true authentic self. Everything else becomes the creation of. And, our job is to, and this is what I spoke about in my yearly message. And then last night, Lisa pulled me a card and sent it to me right before bed. And it was kind of tied exactly into what I was talking about. And that is that it's our job to find our way back to that self. And it's our job to expose within ourselves, without beating ourselves up, the possibility that we have that master manipulator that kind of interferes in the plan of living our best and most beautiful life, is to kind of influence and affect us in ways that are not in alignment to our truest truth and who we are all the way to our soul. And when you come into that deep relationship with you, when you sit with yourself, like you sit with the divine of you, you sit with the not just sit and pick out your flaws and keep trying to perfect things, or trying to, or pointing out everyone else's flaws, is that when you sit with self and you're able to sit and look at life and look at the previous choices and decisions that you make. When people often will say, I don't know why this person keeps treating me this way, and I'm like, okay, let's change the question. Why do you keep allowing somebody to treat you that way? Right? Why do you keep allowing it? What is the narrative to the story that you tell yourself on why you keep allowing this to happen? Because the choice is yours, and you make the choice, and you choose how it affects you, how it influences, how you're going to respond. Nobody creates your emotion. Nobody creates those emotions. The only person that creates the emotion is you. You create the emotional response. So when we feel this energetic attachment to somebody, is that we then create a narrative and a story, and we bring the emotion online. We feel something. What we're feeling is an energy. The energy has no story until we give it a story, until it gains that life. And then we use our experiences and what we felt like being attracted to somebody else before. We have previous experiences that we use to kind of guide us into all the experiences that we're having in our nows. And so when you let yourself feel the whole experience, because I always say, if you're instantly, not always say, this is one of the things I've always learned, is that this was what we learned about, working with trauma and working with and doing some narcissistic healing training and stuff that I've done over the years, is that if you are instantly attracted, you should probably run. It's like you should probably run instead of jumping all the way in, or you should give it time, for all to reveal itself. Don't automatically think that it is the everything of your life before you give it time for the whole experience, the whole energy to reveal a whole nother truth. And the problem is we convince ourselves, because there's a magnetic energy, is that shadows love shadows, right? It's the same with, in my writing, I speak about the twin flame story, and I'm like, there's such bullshit that we get tied up in the twin flame story, because often it's the things that we think that we're going to make better in somebody else that we can't see within ourselves, that we can't see, that we need to work on in ourselves, or we can't see our own light. So people say, oh, but I see the good in them, I see what they're capable of, and I just want to help them be able to see it. And I'm like, how about you help yourself? Because what you're seeing is a reflection of what you're in them, what you cannot see in yourself, that you need to bring forth within yourself. And so it's that association and disassociation and all of those things that take place. And all of that's in our energy right now. So there's a lot of illusions, and there's a lot of mirages, and there's a lot of shadow, and there's a lot of this revealing that's taking place. And it's also can really affect people's energy and affect how you are when the emotions are not evolved, is that life can feel heavy, it can feel dark, and it can feel like it's just too big for me, I just can't do this. And if it's too big for us, then why are we trying to conquer it? Why do we try to beat down a mountain that you can't beat down? Why do we not try to find our way around the mountain? Why do we not ask for the mountain to be taken care of by something bigger than us? That there is a greatness, there's a guardian angels, there's our guardian angels, there's an angelic realm. And it's not about what we seek that's outside of ourselves, it's what we seek within ourselves. And it's about that essence of what you should be manifesting the absolute most in your life, is that connection to your divine and that place within you, and find your way into that divine self and coming back to that, because we've gotten so tied up in happiness and joy and satisfaction, all in what we're going to achieve outside of ourselves, the greatest success you'll ever find in your life is to truly find the essence of you. And it doesn't just happen like that. It does take work. I've written 7 books on this journey. I've written 7 books and created all of these paintings and the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards all on this journey. Do I take the long road? No. I take the way of where I allow myself to know that there's no rush to get there. That the journey is worth taking. As much as you could sit and listen to somebody else talk about their life forever, you need to be willing to sit and listen to yourself talk. And listen to yourself talk to yourself in a beautiful way. Stop talking harsh to yourself. Stop being mean to yourself. Stop being unkind to yourself. Because why is it so easy to point out your flaws? Why is it so easy to go to fear instead of faith? Why is it so easy to believe in the negative instead of finding a positive? It's because it's what we have activated. It is what we believe. It's what we hold on to. It is what gives us the rite of passage to keep feeling the way that we feel, because it becomes the comfort zone that is the most uncomfortable place, and it becomes the hardest place. And so how do you stop it? You choose to stop it. It is all in your choices. My statement that I wrote in More Than Existing, which is the most powerful statement of the whole book, and it is, I am done. And it begins that whole journey of saying, and find it. I'm going to find it for you, and I'm going to read it to you. I wrote this down. This is in chapter 1 of More Than Existing. And yes, it's big print, but I still wear the glasses. I am done. I am discovering happiness and joy no matter the cost. I am the essence of my existence and the cause of my continued issues. I am responsible and accountable for my life as I know it to be today. And anything happening within me, I am now allowing. I am making a choice to ignore and neglect the truth that I don't want to face. What happens if I am to face a truth that I then have to live with? I guess we'll have to see. Will I be brave enough to stand tall in the light and be seen as my raw, real, and vulnerable true self? As I show myself mercy and step out of the protective armor worn for so many years, will I truly be able to walk out and be free? Free from my own bondage of the illusions of my truth, the stories and lies that held me captive for too long. And that is one of the things that you have to do. You have to say, okay, I'm done speaking to myself this way. I'm done treating myself this way. I'm done speaking of others that way. Whatever it may be, it has to shift. And the shift can only happen when we make the choice to make it happen. And the journey into living in a different state of being, a different state of mind, a shift within, feels so foreign that you keep trying to get back to the comfort, right? It's like, oh, well, I don't like this feeling. No, it's not that you don't like this feeling. You don't know this feeling. And when you don't know this feeling, it is foreign to you because you've become so accustomed to the old feeling. And so when joy happens within us, we're like, there's something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Why am I not remembering, why am I not remembering that I was in pain? It's like, why am I not remembering all those things? It's because those things are trying to detach from you so that you can be like a rocket ship and that you can take off into new energy, into a new life so that you can begin again. So there's so much power in these moments, even if it feels like a heavy energy, because still, no matter what the energy is, the only one that can activate everything that is happening within you is you. And that's a truth. And we're all human. I've done it. I do it. I've been there. I'm still going to be there at points. But how long do you stay there? How long do you stay there? How long do you allow yourself to keep staying there? Pain is, the pain that happens, the hurts that happen. That's not a choice you choose. Those are things that happen. But the misery that you place yourself in, that becomes our choices. And it's all based on those choices. It is not easy to shift and change that mindset. And sometimes that means that I have to seek out the help. Sometimes I have to step out of where I am and seek into. Just like, I'm waiting right now. In the next 2 months, I'm going for the biggest, most major surgery of my life. And I could choose to say I'm afraid of that surgery and not go, and I could find every reason and every excuse not to have that surgery and stay living this way and say, oh well, it's just I don't want to risk this happening. Or I can choose to take a chance on the possibility that I will feel a whole fucking lot better. And when you make those choices and you make those decisions, you are the one making them. And you always remember, most of those choices, you can change again. Nothing is a permanent. You can make changes. You can change direction. You can turn around. You can look another way. There's always a way. So after Wine and Chips, the book is actually called The Way. These are the books that are waiting to come out. And so Wine and Chips, this is not Wine and Chips. This is the cover for Wine and Chips that I placed on this book so many years ago, when a friend of mine told me that I had to create a cover and put it on my absolute favorite book, the book that changed my life, the book that kind of brought me here. And the book was actually called Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. So Wine and Chips have been sitting on You Can Heal Your Life. And every time I would get this book, I would read this book, and then I would give it to somebody else. Say, you have to read this book. You have to read this book. And finally, one day, one of my old hairdressing clients, who's a friend, came in and she said, I don't know why, Corrie, but I have this sitting on the shelf and I have to bring you in this book. And it literally was a copy of Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And it was the original copy. That's how magical life is. The last copy that I had handed out probably could never have made its way back to me, because the woman that I had given it to had actually did all the changes in her life, and she had found that happiness, and she had found it all before the ending of her time on earth. And so the book stayed with her and probably found its way into her family somehow. But the book found its way back. And so our journey is to find our way back to love. It's to find our way back to love and light. It's our journey to find our way back into the sense of, if someone takes our happiness, if we believe someone took our happiness, they didn't take our happiness. We let our happiness go. And when we let the happiness go, it's that we have defined the happiness outside of ourselves. We have to find that self again and bring that self in. And I can tell you my greatest relationship, and you can use whatever word you want. I have my beautiful friend, Lisa Starr Francis here, who is the word alchemist. She can tell you how words trigger you, and you can be triggered by words. That relationship with God, and what that relationship is, and whether you call it God, source, creator. I'm Indigenous, so sometimes I say creator, sometimes it's source, but it's God. And it's the essence of something that is bigger and greater, but it is the thing that brings life into us. And we are that life force energy. We are the same as the universal life force energy. And we're all connected, and we're all connected to this life force energy. And that we are here to come to life and to be alive. And all that we have happening in October is here to kind of challenge us in that energy and see how willing we are to fight back and to step into saying, I'm done believing that narrative. I'm done, but I'm not afraid to look, not afraid to look at this life. And yes, I will feel so much better, Trish. I know. I'm actually excited for the surgery now. Not gonna lie, it's a little crazy, but I'm excited. And so the other aspect of this, and this is I remember this because somebody messaged me about it this morning, and told me they love this statement that I had in the weekly energy update. What I said was, when you look into a mirror, so a mirror does not give you a true reflection. Your eyes only see pixels. So when you look into a mirror, if you get, you know how when you get up close to mirrors, sometimes they make you look broader and wider and shorter and stumpier. And then if you back up, they make you look thinner. And the farther away you stand, the thinner you look and the taller you look. Well, if your mirror only ever showed you the one reflection, so just say, for example, you had a mirror and all it showed you is that you were tall, slim, beautiful, that you were glowing, the light was shining all the right directions, and you never got to see any other reflection. That's all you got to see. You would believe that to be you. You would never doubt it. You would be there. But then if somebody switched the mirror and then the reflection changed and you seen something else and you've seen another version of yourself, then all that you once believed is now gone. Because that's how our distorted views work. So if we see only that one self and you look in only at that one self, and all you see is that one self, you may do the things to yourself that may not be the healthiest because you're believing the one story. But when the reflection change, then then you can see yourself. So if you only ever seen yourself as tall, skinny, and beautiful, you're like, I can eat whatever I want. I can wear whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And then it's like all of a sudden your health starts to go down. You start to have a reason to look, or the reflection changes, and then you see something different, or you find out something different, and then you have to look at another perspective and you have to see things differently. Then all of that truth now becomes a lie. And when that truth becomes a lie, then we recognize that we have built a whole life on accepting lies as truth, including the lies that we tell ourselves, because it's what projects us forward. It's what gives us our rite of passage to be right, to do what we want, or that we keep believing the things that we have been previously told, and we don't question it. And a huge part of ourselves is to learn how to question those truths and question what we believe to be true for ourselves. And does it work for me? Not everything's going to work, right? Sorry. Speaking of that, I've been doing food eliminations, and I had something that, is so good for us and that I love, and it was like turkey, but I'm actually allergic to turkey. And so as good as turkey is, as low fat as turkey is, my body don't like turkey. and so, dietitians might tell you to eat turkey. Somebody else may do well on turkey. I don't do well on turkey. And I've tried it 1,000 times and I get the same thing over and over. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing turkey no more. Turkey don't work for me. And my body doesn't respond well. And so your body will be your truest truth. So if you feel miserable, then you are miserable. If you feel there's something inside of you that is saying there's something that's making me miserable. If I don't want to be miserable, then how do I get to not miserable? I have to make choices and I have to make those changes, and nobody can do it for us. I can give all the advice in the world. I can give all the guidance in the world and give you all the books to read, but it's only you that can choose it, because you have to activate something new within you. And that's what we need. And so that's where we are in our energy. That's what we have happening. That's what we got going on in this world right now. Come on, Phoebe. She talks. I think she's done talking to the birds. I want to go back and read some comments. So sorry I can't comment on everything when I'm channeling, because I just channeled you guys a big message. So I hope it resonates with you. Good, Regina. Glad this helped you today. And Pixie Sacred Journey. It's so neat to hear this today. I'm so glad that this helped you today. I'm going to go back up. Hello, Edie. Chelsea, yes, I had to train myself and choose what I wanted to change my mindset and change my thought process. Exactly. It takes practice, but the uncomfortableness is what I notice made me excited to know I feel differently about certain things. Yes, to not to be afraid of the unknown, right? The unknown is the place we need to go. If we only ever stay in the comforts of the knowing, then how do we ever learn something new? How do we ever grow? And if you fear change, change is happening with or without you. The problem is that you're changing, but you're refusing to accept the changes that are happening, right? And so we fear change. We don't want change, and we're like, oh, I don't like change. I don't want to change. Yet change is happening. It's happening everywhere. I love you too, Lisa. And hello. I think Camille has just recently joined in. And hello to everyone who's watching and doesn't comment. Welcome. Feel free to share these videos out. They are on Facebook and YouTube all at the same time. And so when I speak about that truth in the second book, so this was about the ownership, responsibility. It's about accountability. And so only when you recognize that only you is accountable for your stories that you believe and what you change, there's, this is the journey. And so I share stories and not how-tos. And I would say the writings often make people uncomfortable because it's not imperfection. It's not written to make people comfortable. It's written to kind of trigger that sense of, I don't want to read any further. I'm going to put the book down. It's like, can you push yourself to go one page further? The other thing that I teach people, take your books, whether it's this book or this, The Everyday Goddess, whatever it is, flip your book and use this as your oracle and say, what do I need to know today? What is the message I need to know today? And it will open up on a story. So you flip it, you open it, and it will open up to something that you probably need to know. So funny, because one thing we were talking about was narcissistic conversations. And the statement right here says, we have come to use narcissistic language too freely at times. We make a choice to label someone as a narcissist because we keep pushing ourselves into their lives, even when they have time and time again told us that they want something different or have a different view. We sometimes push others to accept our power, even if they have said no, because we have our minds made up that this person has to be in our life. Who else has done this? That was the page it opened up to. And so you have a great day too, Lindsay. I'm so glad it resonates with you. Alberta girl, Tracy, right? So profound. Yes, right. There's such profound messages. And then this book is about my truth of existing beyond a reflection, is about truth. And the statement here that I will read to you when I can get to the chapter. And this was in the introduction, I think. An awareness of the uncertainty towards my own truth some days, an acceptance of the feeling in my body is the closest to the truth that makes my world feel real. I am unsure if truth is achievable anymore in this world, or if it ever existed. The more I open my eyes and my heart, the more I see a world that is made up of stories and lies to suit the narratives and ego, creating lives that we can all justify. In the end, I believe we achieve more of a life of acceptance, weighing out what we can and cannot accept, blending and bleeding into the emotions of a lifetime of stories. And that's what our life is made up of. It's made up of stories. And so if we share stories and we see into those stories, you can find out you're not so alone. And that if somebody else has had a success story and somebody else has overcome a difficult situation or a difficult time, so can you. Why not you? We all matter. We're not that damn special, right? We're all going to have to experience life. We can't avoid it. The only way we avoid is if we stop allowing ourselves to feel, if we numb ourselves and not let ourselves feel. But that doesn't stop us from feeling. It just means the feelings don't hit the areas that bring us to the place of bringing change. And so when we can let ourselves feel, or, recognize that we all matter enough to be able to learn how to feel, to learn how to work with our emotions, to learn how to engage in healthy conversations in healthy relationship. And that first healthy relationship has to be the healthy relationship that you have with yourself. I need to stop doing that to myself. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I do still offer one-on-one sessions. It's, it's limited space, but I do have some one-on-one appointments still open for October. I'm only opening month by month because I am going for that surgery. You can also purchase emailed video readings from me as well that are emailed to you, and you can choose 2, 3, or 5 cards that you can select from. Those are still also available. If these all resonate with you and you really want to dive a little deeper into you can always book that session. So a card to go with this. And this is my others. This is the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, which you can purchase directly on my website if you go to CorrieThorne.com. And yes, my page now is Corrie Thorne-Cameron. But this work has all got Corrie Thorne on it. And my website will stay Corrie Thorne because I did get married July the 29th. I did get married for the first time in my life at 52 years old. So I do have a new last name. But we both have the same name. So we're both Corrie. Which makes it kind of a little bit difficult sometimes. Pixies. I looked into the mirror 25 years ago and tore off my mask. It's been a heck of a ride thus so far, right? I'm grateful. Even when the fear sneaks in. Yes, exactly, right? And I'm like, I'm not very good at wearing masks. I am what I am. I've kind of think I've, but I've definitely, that mirror, and me and the mirror were not friends because all I ever seen for a lot of years was I'm going to call her fat girl, and I don't mean anything, but that's what that part of myself when I was in my writing said to call myself. And what she was the version of myself that everyone could come to, everyone could rely upon. She was the dependable one. She was the that version of myself was loyal to everyone. She was everyone's friend. She was always available. You could depend on her for anything. You could drop the bombs onto her and she would just still be there for you. You could be unkind to her and she would forgive you in a minute. That was the versions of myself. And that version of myself, and I was like, and I could never, even if I lost weight, all I could still see was her. And so I literally took a journey through sitting with that version of myself and asking her what she really needed and who she really was and what she really meant to me. And what her real truths were and what her strengths were and what she loved and what she liked and who was she beyond everything that everyone had always said that she was. And that she is why that Everyday Miracle card is in the book. She is the everyday miracle. If it wasn't for that version of myself, I wouldn't be who I am today. And that aspect of ourselves, and then being able to dissect that and who do you really want to be? I want to be that painter. I want to live a life of where I'm not so at demand. I don't want to work 18 hours a day. I can't work 18 hours a day. I was never designed to work 18 hours a day. I was never designed to make sure I could fit in 8, 10 readings a day. I was never created that way. And so the more that you discovered about yourself, you find out so much more. You can so relate, Edie, right? And so, yeah, there's just so much to that story. Maybe a little too much, Regina. Good. I'm glad this resonates with you. That's why I'm here today. I wouldn't be in here today given this message if I didn't answer the call. I could have just stayed editing wine and chips, which we really need to, we really want to get done. But something called me to be in here. And so I just show up. I just show up in life. And the key is it's not about perfecting, it's about showing up. And the minute you start showing up for you, it's the minute life starts to change. Feel like I'm speaking to you right now? Well, if it feels like, I remember one of my life coaches saying this one time, if it feels like I'm speaking to you, then it is for you, right? I'm always happy to be here. Because when I come here with full open heart. I don't just show up because it's a job and you got to be here. It's like, oh, I got to go do a live. No, I ain't got to do nothing. Just because you can doesn't mean you got to. It doesn't mean you have to. Just because you got the ability don't mean that's what you have to do. And your gifts were first created for you. So here's our card. Let's see. Let's see where we're going. Oh, we have divine feminine. We have sisterhood. And in my yearly prediction video that I did for the year, I spoke about how the masculine had to crumble this year. And that you're going to see like the crumbling of the masculine. And it doesn't mean just men, it means the masculine within us. Because the feminine is rising. And as our feminine is rising, the masculine has to be strong and be supportive. And so we all have a feminine and masculine energy. And that masculine energy is to support our feminine, gentle, loving, caring self. But gentle don't mean it's weak, right? There's just so much mixed up language around that conversation. But it's also the bearing witness to some of the falling of the masculine energy and the men themselves and having to do their own healing. Is that, men are not here to heal as well. They're not here to stifle it back. They don't escape the things we escape. They go through the same things we go through, just in a different, with different language. They often have to hide. So if you are even a woman and you've always existed, I just got to suck it up. I'm always the strong one. And that's what my fat girl story was that she was always very in her masculine. She was the leader. She was always the dependable. She was strong. She was courageous. She didn't give a shit. She was the warrior. She did what needed to be done. And that's the masculine energy of herself that really needs to be able to fall. And so the divine feminine sisterhood just says, here creeps in our own sinister, which we speak of, and it's being revealed. And as this beautiful flow of this light reveals to us, is that it's from our heart is when we have the courage to lift all of the veils for the healing to begin, to expose to ourselves our own master manipulator, our own, deception, how we deceive ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, those lies that we have that kind of becomes our Pinocchio stories, right? And in this glass is this little goldfish. And the environment matters to a fish. In nature, you can't take a saltwater fish and put it in fresh water and expect it to live. Even if the water is crystal clear and filled with nutrients and filled with all the food that it would need to eat, if it doesn't have the right environment, it cannot exist. And we are no different. And so as things are changing, as we have to change our own water, there's key elements of what we need depending on who we are that is not meant to be changed. And that links us back to our light. And that brings us back to ourselves. And it brings us back to a new truth. And it brings us home to us. And so this divine feminine sisterhood is this sense of what we need to support us, what we need to be able to recognize that we can't do the journey alone, and that we thrive when we recognize that we work better as a community, and that part of also not doing things alone is not trying to do things from the past versions of yourself, from the past stories, from our ego, but from our truth, from the awakening of our divine self within. And I'm like, and I'm out of energy. I'm glad you came in today too, Felicia. And so that's, and that then tells us about being the observer. So when you can observe your own, instead of looking into what others are doing, look into you and become an observer of that self. And what you also find is you find the goodness. And when you can find your own goodness, when you can remember that you've done a lot of good, you've done a lot of great, you've done a lot of, beautiful things in your life. And when people tell me, I'm not that strong, and I'm like, that's a bullshit story, because number one, you just don't understand what it is to be strong. If you can see yourself, and this is in my writings, this is in all my books, if you can see yourself at the end of every difficult situation and who had to finally make the choice after you torture yourself, after you go through all of that, who makes that final choice and decision? See the woman, man, whoever you are, at the end who finally has to make that tough choice, that tough decision, who has to stand up, sometimes feel like you're standing alone, sometimes feel like you're going to be isolated, for saying, I just can't accept that. That just don't work for me. That just don't feel right for me. And to stand there and to be that, you have been that strength. You have been that strong at different places in your life. You have been through those experiences. That person exists. That person is within you. You just lose your focus. You lose by looking somewhere else, by looking into the illusion, by looking into a mirror of only one perspective. And when you can only see one perspective, it is hard to be able to see truth. You've got to be willing to have the courage to look at many perspectives. That's our message. That's what I got for you. That adds on to the message that is in YouTube. So if you want to hear that message, go listen. If you want to support my work, then, please do purchase my books, purchase the Oracle cards. You'll love these cards. They are a kick-ass deck of cards. Just saying, they look very simple. But like everything that I do, it appears as if it's so simple. But it's definitely got some kick-ass energy, because if you were to know me and you listen to my friends, I am the person that lovingly makes people cry. And I'm the kick-ass. I do have that heart. I'm like, I don't allow that space. And not if I don't allow it for myself, I don't allow it for others. I'm like, yeah, what is your real truth? Let's get to see that real truth, because I love seeing the truth. And I speak to your spirit, and your spirit tells a different story than you tell. That's what we have. I hope that helps. You can book your one-on-ones. You can purchase your emailed readings. Oh, the emailed video readings are on if you use Fall Equinox 20%, you will get 20% off those emailed readings. So those emailed readings are on special until October the 15th. And then they go back to regular price. And everything's in Canadian dollars. For all my American people, all of my prices are in Canadian dollar. But everything is available into the US. Wherever you are, we can ship. But it's Fall Equinox 20%. I think it is. It's on my website. It's everywhere. But use the coupon code for the emailed video readings, and you get 20% off of those readings. And you can book or you can purchase a 2, 3, or 5 card reading, and it will be emailed to you. And there is in the notes, you can put if you do have a little specific question, or just say general or whatever, you can place it in there, and I will try my best to get that for you. There's never a guarantee. There is no guarantee on what, because the Oracle speaks. But if you would like to purchase one, go get them. Yeah, thank you. I would love for you to get my books. And you can buy a trio pack, actually, with 2 books and a deck of Oracle cards. And they will all come with a personal message if you purchase all 3 on the website. And there is a package thing to buy it there. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, please follow me. And I look forward to so much more and what else will be coming in the months ahead. There is lots of good things coming, a lot of good changes and good energy that is on the back end of, the tides going out. So much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye.